Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Homemaker Chic podcast. This is the podcast where we are rescuing the art of homemaking from the daily grind. We are homemakers here. You are amongst good company, but even still, in all
this
this
is
beautiful
a safe space.
Amongst all this beautiful and blessed work that we get to do in our homes, it gets a little stodgy. It's a little crusty, doesn't it, Angela?
I don't know what you're talking about. I just live on a cloud of no dust bunnies and a constantly empty sink.
I'm sure you do. I think I've called Angela 3-4 times this week. The house is just so crusty. It's so crusty. And so we thought, let's talk about decluttering and cleaning and maintaining our safe spaces today.
Wow. Yeah. We've sort of just made like a slight turn towards the better in the kitchen remodeling. And so I find that I've been going into the living room where everything is stored and sort of starting to putz a little bit. And we got the sink out of the living room. So that's a huge accomplishment. There's no longer a massive sink sitting in the middle of my living room. So that feels decluttered, let me tell you.
No kidding. Just being able to put some order back into place, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, I can feel it. Just little glimmers of hope. Like, you do know how to keep a house. It's coming. It's coming back.
I think that's honestly one of the trickiest parts Angela and I have 10 children between the two of us. We both have little small farms. We both garden and we both preserve things from that garden during the summertime. We both cook from scratch. So there is so much going on in our homes. And I know people listening to the podcast, some people are living in apartments or they're living with their parents or their situation is different, and God bless you. But it's severe. And I think sometimes it's most severe when we feel like we can't fully express ourselves as homemakers because those dang people living in our house just won't play by our rules.
Hello. I could be so amazing.
There just weren't people around me.
If there just wasn't anyone to, it's just...
If there just wasn't anyone to undo.
Yeah.
No, I'm being serious. That's a struggle.
Because it's true. Because you put I'm very system. Like there is a way to do things and a way not to do things. And, even I bought these a couple years ago when we did the boot room. I bought these big, they're kind of decorative, but they're boot trays. And they have a 2 or 3 inch lip. And they're heavy rubber for boots. Okay. So the idea is you walk in with your shoes or your boots and you line them up underneath your coat hook instead of leaving them in the flight path from the back door to the kitchen.
Listen,
entrance.
I'm already confused. You've completely lost me. There's no way I could follow this.
Are you joking?
Yes, of course. So confusing. Doesn't make sense.
So yesterday, and you trip on them. I gathered people yesterday and I said, could you just all look down? There are 8 individual shoes and boots in a 12-foot path here. It's like it's like a minefield. Just the constant undoing, the constant. And if I see the drill on my countertop one more time, I'm like, the remodeling is happening over there. This is where the food is happening. This is the construction zone. No wrenches on the marble.
I finally just made a little drill tool bin and put it on a shelf. If these things are going to be inside and not go back to the shop where they live, then they can live in this little bin so that they do not live on my desk and do not live in my spaces. Oh, speaking of which, if you guys are watching the video form of the podcast on YouTube
look
now.
At her space.
Come on, ladies, look at this. It's painted, and
pretty.
the corners are painted. The trim is painted. The ceiling medallion is painted. Good God, did we finish something? What is this? You know how I got it done? Let me tell you. I was like, honey,
Bribery, favors,
no.
kind of favors we don't talk about on this show.
No.
But
I was like, maybe this week for our YouTube video, we could do it on office organization and share this piece of our, space and how we organize our work things. Cause there's a lot of homeschooling families who watch our channel, a lot of entrepreneurs who watch our channel who are working from home.
Mhm.
Like, let's share what our space looks like. But in order to do that, oh, by golly, I think we need to finish it.
We have
Oh,
to lead by example.
Oh, shoot. I guess we'll just do that.
That's how I get anything done. Hello, I need YouTube content this week.
Yeah. I'm so happy with
If
it.
I don't,
I love it.
not
I love
happening.
the color. Makes
Yeah,
me so
yeah.
happy.
The color's pretty.
Mm-hmm. Cottage
And do you have a
Field by
smart little,
Joanna Gaines.
Sweater on?
I do have a smart little sweater.
Do you have a little
Yeah.
sweater on? That is so cute.
Yeah. It's a little short. I'm not
cute.
one of these little tweeny girls
was gonna
showing
say,
off
is
my
that
midriff.
cropped?
Well, look at this. Okay,
I
those of you
just saw
watching.
that waistline. I'm like, is she wearing a cropped shirt?
First
Oh
off,
my.
I'm wearing it with my super high-waisted wide leg Levi jeans that I've had forever. But I love them. I love wide leg trousers. Love it.
Well, thankfully, they're in. So
I know.
they're a little easier to find.
I know. Well, these ones
Thankfully,
are old.
Yeah.
They're before wide leg, I think, was in, but it's Levi's.
But
It's
remember
pretty
how
classic.
difficult they were to find a few years ago, even just, yeah.
Yeah.
The crop is
crop
everywhere,
top.
though. You have a hard time finding anything that's not cropped. I actually really like a crop top.
Okay. I don't want to show off my midriff. I'm almost 40 years old. Get out of here.
But I don't, I'm talking about like when you move. I'm not talking about like, a 3-inch gap between your pants and but I think like right now it's pretty hard to find something where like if that isn't just at that movement level.
Well, see, I just wear a tank top underneath. So even if I wear like a shorter shirt, I always wear it with high-waisted pants because I've had 4 children, and I always wear a tank top underneath it. And that way you get the shape of it, but you don't have to worry about the, modesty aspect of things.
Yeah. And you can wear, like I wear, I'm just going to make an announcement. I don't wear bras anymore. We've parted ways. Okay.
How do you do
I'm
that?
done. I got these sticky things that I'm obsessed with.
Oh my gosh.
Sticky boobs. And like just cami, not sport bra, but like really, it's the same fabric as my underwear, but there's no, I'm not doing any more connectors. What's the word I'm looking for? No more metal on my shoulders.
No, I get that.
I've gone through enough pain and misery in my life. I'm done with straps and clasps and adjusting. We're done here. So I got these sticky boob things. I went to see my grandma and we went shopping one day and there was all these little cute shops and there was this lingerie shop. And I went in there for something else and saw like this whole display of like the nipple tape and all that stuff, and they had some really good quality things in there. And I started talking to the saleswoman. It's really great if you go into a shop that's specific to one thing, you can find somebody who really knows what they're talking about. And when you're buying clothing, it feels so good to be in the hands of somebody who knows what they're talking about. So I just told her my dilemma. I'm like, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this anymore. I think it's a horrible contraption to begin with, and I don't want to play anymore. And so she showed me, I don't know what it's called, new something. It was not cheap, this sticky bra thing. And I'm obsessed with it. There's nothing on my back. Like my back is free. Oh my gosh, it's so lovely. And
feels like it would be sweaty.
Other than that,
how much sweat are we talking here? Sticky.
I'm wearing them in the summer. I think it's just like it's a really good quality one. So
I think you're going to need to show me. I'm having a hard time picturing this here. I'm just picturing like a giant
from
Band-Aid.
Target. No, they're 2 cups. they're 2 cups, and so you can put them wherever you want them. You can put them, like, way out and squish them in. You can put them down low. You can and they clasp in the middle,
Okay.
and they're amazing. But I think it's the quality of it
Okay.
because 'cause I've tried them from Target before, and, I don't know why I started
Mhm.
talking about this. You started talking about your midriff.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm wearing either sticky bras or, like, just a little, like, cami tank,
Mhm.
that's a little bit more fitting, like they sell at little boutiques and stuff. There's one up here, and I grabbed a few, like, nude color ones that come down. They don't come down like you can't tuck them in, but they come down farther than the crop top. So it's that same kinda thing where, like, if you move, like you said, you're not, like,
Mhm. Yeah.
showing everything. Yeah.
Yeah. No, come on, ladies. We got to keep it classy here. We're of the older generation. Okay. We need to show them youngins how it's done. I've been watching all these movies in Italian, and I'll be
Uh,
danged. I know this is not a fashion episode, but these older
we might
Italian
have to
women,
switch.
I'm not talking about like Nona age. I'm talking about like your mom's age. They got it going on with their style. They are so tasteful. And you know what it
Mm.
comes down to? I think they've got like button up shirts or a blouse. They wear jeans, like they're not overly dressed, sometimes slacks. They wear
Mhm.
jewelry so that they look dressed. It elevates everything a little bit. It's the dang cardigan. They're just wearing cardigans over so the collar of their button up is popped over or their sleeves are rolled up, you know? They all got these
Mm.
really sweet, not like granny cardigans, but like they got it going on. It dresses everything up. And I
The
was looking at it the other
cardigan?
night.
First you said it was the eyewear, and now
It is.
now it's
It's also
the
the eyewear.
it's
It's
the
also the
cardigan?
fact that they iron everything because there's no dryers. And so everything's line dried. So all their clothes are pressed. But
Okay,
for real, they
but
got it
think
going
about what
on.
you're saying. Here's what it is. It's not there is so much t-shirt fabric going on. It's the reason they look good is because there is structure.
Yeah.
You said it. You said buttons, you said collar.
Yep.
That's why.
Yep.
Anyone, I challenge anyone listening to take a picture of yourself in a V-neck white t-shirt with a pair of jeans and then put on a white blouse. Roll the sleeves up to 3/4, give the collar a little tug, and take a picture of yourself in the same outfit. And I'll be darned if
Yep.
I'm not right.
Yep.
That you're going to like yourself so much better. You're going to have like more angles, but feminine angles, get angles. Like most women don't look good in a t-shirt. Most people don't look good in cotton, in just like relaxed clothing.
Hmm.
Your body, no matter what size you are, looks so much better with
Oh,
some
yeah.
shape.
I was wearing a gray crew sweatshirt yesterday. And I knew the
Mhm.
second I put it on, I was like, this does negative for you. Like, it's not a good color. It's not a good shape. It's not a good
Mhm.
material. But, it was a cozy time. I was at home. I was hanging out. It was fine.
Right,
But the
right.
difference is when you're wearing those clothes out. I'm going to tell you, I went to a water park yesterday. Not a lot of clothes going on in general. Obviously, it was a water park, but like the lack of even bathing suit going on was
It's a cheeky world, Shay. It's
whoa,
a
is
cheeky
it
world.
ever? I'm like,
I I sit out on the pier with my kids and I'm just like watching these women go by.
mm-mm. Nope. I've
Wow.
seen it all. I've seen it all. And I didn't even pay for the price of admission. Imagine that. What were we
I think I
talking about?
interrupted you. What were you saying? No. Well, this is fun. Can't talk about cleaning
Uh,
forever.
I don't remember where I was going with that. I think, your 40s are I'm not in my 40s yet, by the way. I'm 38, but this is a funky time because I do think you're still young. 30s is not old. Shush, it's not old, but you're not youth anymore. Okay. Like I have a daughter who's the youth now.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so there needs to be a point of separation of like, this is how my daughter dresses. This is how I dress because I am an older, more sophisticated, classy version. I am a woman, an experienced
Mhm.
woman who has, lived a life. And been married and
Right.
born children and run a business. And like, I think that the way we dress needs to be reflective of that. And as I get older, it's just funny how it's a moving target, you guys. It's like trying to organize your family. It's like you can do it and it'll last for a season, but then you got to redo it
Yeah.
again. And you have to
Right.
reassess. Even like your clothing, your hairstyle, all these different things. Like, what's this next season look like for us? And that's true whether you're talking
I,
about organizing your house, cleaning your house, dressing, your makeup, whatever.
right. Right.
You don't figure it out and you're once and done, I guess is what I'm saying. It's like it's genuinely an ever
No, I
evolving
mean,
thing.
yeah. And I think you can, there's like nuance to that. I mean, I think once you've settled into your style, then you can change it as you're aging or as trends, like, and there are things that you can do as you're older. Like if you are looking at what younger people are wearing, a lot of people are like, they really still want to dress young,
Mhm,
you know?
mhm,
And so you can accommodate that, like what we were just talking about with the shirts that are more cropped these days. Like you can still do that in a way that is more tailored, you know,
mhm,
um, to accommodate, what looks a little bit more dignified, for example.
mhm. Yeah, be dignified. Doesn't mean you need to be like my grandma. She was 69 when she died. She was old forever. Like she had that she was just old, you know?
I had a grandma like that, old
Yeah.
from
Old
about
from she
439. Yeah.
exactly. The hairstyle was, it was like,
Polyester,
yeah, polyester.
rat and tease, little hair, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Things have changed though.
Mhm.
We are living longer. And so I think that's part of why you see this. People are refusing to get older as quickly as they once did, right? Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the average Viking, like if you lived to be like 33, you were old because like they all died. I'm
Gone from
serious.
suburban moms at the water park to Lagatha.
I think about Vikings a lot, actually. I do.
Oh my
I spend a lot of
gosh.
time thinking about Vikings. Um, but I remember reading about it and it was like the average age was like 12, I mean, because they died in battle. They lived a very hazardous lifestyle. And so
Oh,
if
for
you
sure.
lived
I
to be
mean,
30, like they weren't contemplating these things. What do I do about my wrinkles? Everyone died before there were wrinkles. Like not a
right,
thing.
right, right. I think that's even the case with menopause. Like it's like such a
Mhm.
perimenopause and menopause is such a like a hot topic, and even like research being done on it is like
Mhm.
none, but it's such a new subject if you're talking about the last 200 years because we're
We're living
we don't
longer.
live as long. Yeah.
Yeah. Just the reality of it.
Right.
Yeah, it's just the reality of it. Um anyway, food for thought. Food for thought. I
That's an
dream of the
episode.
day my parents, like we did not have a ton of money growing up, but they were always so good about saving money for our back to school clothes. So, you know how kids these days, like they go shopping all the time? We did not do that. We went shopping
Oh my
one time
gosh.
per year.
Yeah. You got a
Once.
birthday present, a Christmas present, and you went back to school shopping.
Yep. Yeah. And that was after my dad went back to college when I was in middle school. And so this was like
Okay.
post that. I don't remember really before
Yeah.
that, but we used to go because we live in a small town. We used to drive to Seattle and we would go shopping at Nordstrom's. We would stay with my aunt and uncle, and it was like the biggest deal
Back when
because
Nordstrom was great.
it was
Like Nordstrom
phenomenal. The
stinks now.
piano
But back
player,
when it was, oh yeah, baby, the shoe
oh,
department, the
give
piano
it to
player.
me.
Oh yeah.
Loved it. And like we came from a town, there were no elevators, there were no escalators. Like you drop a kid like that into Nordstrom's in the 90s. Get out
Oh.
of here.
Oh, yeah, Nordstrom in the 90s. Oh my gosh, I wanna go back.
But
I
I remember
loved it.
the shoe department. That's what I'm getting at. The shoe department. Like, they would fit you with a shoe. Like, let me measure
Oh,
your
yeah.
heel and your ankle and your toes and like, oh, you need
Scooch
a
forward, you just got real
narrow.
quiet.
Oh, sorry. You need a
Yep.
you need a narrow shoe. I mean, just it was glorious. People knew what
Oh, I
they were
used to take all
doing.
my jewelry, like, I'd drop my jewelry off. "Could you clean my jewelry while I shop?" Yeah, Brass Plum. Remember Black Brass Plum? Is that where you shopped? The teen department, Brass
No,
Plum?
mm-mm. No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's what it was called, Brass Plum.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, loved it.
I just remember walking away. I begged my parents to buy me a pair of Doc Martens. And I was in this real like
That's
rebellish
always the
phase.
case.
I would wear camo cargo pants, baggy cargo
Okay.
pants, a little tight black, like Destiny's Child. Little Gwen
Oh.
Stefani, like cyberpunk thing going on
Oh, well, I can do that. Okay.
with my Doc Marten boots. And I left Nordstrom's and I just thought, there is nobody in the world that's cooler than you.
That's great. That's how my girls are right now with Converse.
Oh, the
I remember
Converse
wanting Converse. We couldn't afford Converse. I had, like, knockoffs from
knockoffs.
Meijer when I was growing up. It was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
And my girls are like, "I just got the latest," my daughter's Ami Lee's got the one with cherries on them. Juliet has the one with diamond studs on them. Like,
Yeah.
they just dropped a new pair. Ah!
Yeah. Listen, there's a Bible, entire Bible book on this called Ecclesiastes. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay.
And all is vanity.
And all is vanity. That's right. Like, these kids, you think you're so cool for your Converse and your Doc Martens? No, 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 no. It's all been done before, kids. It's all been done before. I'd still wear them.
You're so quiet. It's making me
Why?
crazy. What happened? I don't
Nothing
know.
happened. Okay,
All
hang
right, I'm
on.
gonna have to turn you up, but then I'm gonna blow myself out of the water. It
Is
won't
this
let me,
better?
but
Is this better?
much.
Okay.
Mucho. Yeah.
Ooh, mucho. Doing Italian
Mucho.
yesterday.
Oh
Slammed
yeah, did you
down.
get spanked?
Oh, well, I did get spanked, but I slammed down. He asked me a question. I'm like, that. And he was like, that'd be great if we were speaking Spanish.
Uh,
Like, Spanish, man.
it's not the same. It's not the same R roll.
No, I mean, no, it's different. Uh,
Is it less of a trill or is it an actual different
well, no, I
technique?
was using Spanish words. Thanks,
Oh,
Owen.
oh, gotcha.
Look, they're
Okay.
so close. They're both Latin based. And like,
Yeah.
I am around Spanish all the time. It is swimming upstream. When you're like, okay, for example,
Yeah.
I think I've shared this one before, but like you have casa and casa. Like they both
Yeah,
mean
yeah.
house. And I'm like, I get to a word and I'm like, okay, which one's the Spanish one? Which one's the Italian one?
Right.
I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Why was I telling you that? I don't remember. This is just an episode of Rabbit
Converse.
Trails. I'm sorry. I have no
I don't
idea what
know.
that has to do with anything. Like my Owen,
I don't know.
he brought me in 3 fried eggs, 2 pieces of toast, and a banana. What a guy.
How do you plan on eating that?
I'm not going to eat it, but it was really sweet of him.
Nobody wants to watch you eat.
Oh.
Thank you, Owen.
Do you find yourself just like randomly busting out into prayers about your children's future spouses?
Shay,
This
I
is-
can't talk about that right now. I'll start crying.
This has become
My kids are so heavy on my heart at this stage in my life. It's like
yeah.
burden. I get it's probably
Yeah.
a good burden, but it's
Yeah.
just like almost overwhelming. Like
I
because
understand.
like the little like innocent, get them a Matchbox car at Target to make them happy days are just like into the background. It's just so heavy.
Yeah.
It's so heavy.
Yeah. It is. It's yeah, okay, different episode. Different episode.
Yeah.
Let's say
And the
thank
future
you.
spouses seems impossible. Like just like blah.
Yeah.
Impossible.
It's not impossible. Um,
I know.
let's say thank you to our sponsor, Dry Farm Wines. Took us 25 minutes to
Yay.
get there, but we got there in the end. This is
That's
where
okay.
you need to go for your beautiful artisan wines. Wines that I was watching this Italian movie about a Prosecco maker, and he was saying,
Ooh.
we don't use alien yeast. That's what he called it, alien yeast.
Okay.
So, dry farm wines, they go around the world and they find little wineries who are doing things to a particular standard. One of those
Yeah.
standards is that you only use native yeast, meaning the yeast that exists naturally on the skin of the grape, which is on every food that lives outside. And that's what you use to make your wine. So typically, winemakers, especially these huge factories, they'll bring in all the grapes from thousands of different vineyards. They'll
Mhm.
pasteurize it to kill off the yeasts. Add a lot of times they'll add chemicals that kill off the natural yeast. Then they introduce the yeast that they want back into the batch. So that's an alien yeast. That's not the natural yeast on the grape. Dry Farms does not do this. You're only allowed
Yeah.
to make it with the yeast on the grape, which is so cool. That's why we call it the
It's so
sourdough.
cool because yeah, and then, they talk about, like, the terroir and everything with wine, like, "Oh, can you taste this? Oh, there's limestone or silt or whatever," but think about, like, what's in the air, the bacteria and I mean, this is
Yeah.
so the real deal for
Hmm.
people that like to nerd out on authentic food. Like, this
Hmm.
is so cool.
Hmm.
I love it.
Hmm. Yeah, and you get a real reflection. I mean, you're not going to get a terroir necessarily of a wine when those grapes have come from 20 different vineyards because all of those vineyards are expressing something different. And you have people whose job it
Right.
is just to taste and to mix and match and try to get a consistent batch over and over and over again. That's not reflective of the season, that's not reflective of the atmosphere or the soil or the
Mhm.
weather that year. So you don't have, quote, a good year because it's all meant to be homogenous. And that is not the world
Mhm.
that we want to live in. So you
Right.
can visit dryfarmwines.com/homemaker chic. Really simple. Or click the wine button or look at the show notes and click it there and use that link because you get an extra bottle with your first order for free. And let me just say this too, their prices are really on point for your there. I would say they're above average. So this isn't your bottom shelf boxed wine, okay? But that's not the type of wine we're drinking anyway.
Right.
But have you noticed at grocery stores how much more expensive like the mediocre wine is? At
Oh,
my
yeah.
local grocery
It's
store, it's
it's
like
starting
25.
at 12.99 and it's swill. It's cough syrup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty shocking. Like your really
Yeah.
standard middle shelf average above maybe slightly above average bottles $26.
Mhm.
And you still don't really know what's in it or where it's coming from. So give it a
Right.
try. Just try it. Try a 3 bottle box. Let us know what you think. Message us over on Instagram. And if you're not sure what you want, Dry Farms, they'll help you. You can chat with them
Yes.
and you say, oh, here's kind of the wine I like. Here's the kind I don't like.
Here's what I don't like. Yeah.
They'll help you.
Do that. They're very service oriented. So
Hmm.
check out the website, do a little snooping around, be sure you're using the /homemaker chic to get to the website because that's going to get you this
Yes.
perk. But I think I know for people that are curious and they want to eat healthier and they want to, as possible, consume the best. Um, this is
Hmm.
it. And I think it's really important if you're brand new to this idea too, to know that we're not talking about dry farm as somebody who comes in and puts the label on wine from these different small wineries. You're still going
Hmm.
to get the satisfaction of seeing the family name, the
Hmm.
vintner, the type of grape, the little location on the map. And sorry, I
Your
just lost
camera
my
just
camera, so I'm
overheated.
distracted.
Okay.
So
So
take over.
dryfarmwines.com/homemaker chic is where you can go. And do let us know what you think. Message us over on Instagram and we'd love to hear it. Okay. We are going to talk about organizing today. We're going to talk about starting with decluttering. So Angela always says with home design, you got to start by neutralizing the ugly. And so before we get into the beauty of decorating or repainting or these kinds of things first. We just need to kind of get to a place of neutrality. Okay. So there's a few ways that we do that. And here's one. We wrote up an outline. This one really got me because it's not actually talking about a physical organization. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm just going to come and swing it. How about a
Oh,
digital declutter? Ugh, what?
as why would you do that to me with this computer desktop that I'm looking at right now?
Because we are
Honestly.
burdened by our things. I am burdened by my inbox. I am burdened by my photos that I don't want to lose, but I haven't organized. But like there's little videos of my babies on there. It's not good, you guys.
How dare you? How dare you? I don't well, okay, I'm gonna come in from another direction. Like for me, summer is not the time for digital decluttering. Like that is a winter snowstorm, late fall thunderstorm
Okay.
kind of a thing.
Okay. That's fair.
Cleaning the house, dusting the house, yes, then I get to enjoy the flowers and the food and the sunlight coming in. But that's for my like personality and when I feel like useful or effective, that would feel so like counterintuitive for summer. Like I already spend enough time on my computer
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree as
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at this
Let's
desktop.
do
You
a
know, I have all
full
the folders and
let's
then,
do a full episode
oh,
on digital declutter.
full
Let's do a
episode
full
on
episode
digital
on that.
decluttering.
But when
And
we're
can
talking,
part of that be throwing our phones in the lake?
yeah, sure. There's this like dumb phone, but it's like not a dumb phone. It's not like flip phone, but it's dumb. And I'm kind of
Ooh.
thinking about getting it and just forwarding stuff. Like we all use our smartphones for a lot of things and they're super helpful. Like, but you could have a smartphone for when you do that, and then maybe a dumb phone for when you don't need it. And
Oh
that's
man.
quite appealing to me. Okay, so Angela doesn't want to do digital detox. Okay, what about
Okay, you talk. I'm gonna close my curtain so that my camera stops overheating. So just keep talking.
okay. Um well, I just redid my office. So here's what I found the most helpful is that when you spend the time organizing, what it actually does for me is it just creates space. And then you can fill that space with various things, but it creates space. So I actually talk about this in my latest YouTube video is one of the things I have found when organizing is of course our beautiful little plastic bins that we can get that we can use all the time, which are so great. When I put them on a shelf or in a cabinet, I don't put the lid on it. I put the lid underneath it and I leave it open. And what that allows us to do is to be able to just put stuff inside of it without the family being required to pull it out, pull the lid off, put stuff in, and put the lid on. That's too many steps for them to be able to manage. And so instead, here, maybe I can, oh no, I can't pan you over and show you, but watch the video and you'll see it on there. And labels. Labels are my Labels are my jam. So those are the two things that I've been finding the most helpful is a storage solution for things that actually works, labeling everything, and then just being absolutely ruthless about getting rid of things that no longer serve us. Did you catch all that?
I caught from not putting the lid on the bin.
It helps. The
On.
family's more inclined to put things in there.
Okay, where are your bins though? Oh, you just made a whole wall of bins. That's not fair.
Yeah, I did. But I got bins everywhere, girl. Behind those bins, everywhere. Uh, I have my root cellars full of bins,
Yeah.
all kinds of bins. Things have to
I have
have
like
a
12
place.
sitting in the basement waiting for me.
Empty.
Empty. And
Mm.
a neighbor just said, "Hey, do you want this shelf from our garage?" So it's sitting out in the yard and the boys spray painted it white for me. So it's sitting on a drop cloth out in the yard.
There you go.
Now it has to make it from the yard to the basement.
Yeah.
And then I need another rainy day so I can do all the bins.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think, okay, you led with when my camera shut off. Sorry. And now I look freakishly alien, but there's nothing I can do about that. You led with neutralizing the ugly. And I
Yeah.
do think like that's when the house is got like that summertime vibe and there's sand and there's towels and muck boots or Nerf guns, water guns, whatever, just before you even think about like deep diving or dusting, there's a lot of spiders right now. I don't know about you, but we have super bad bugs in our area this year because of all the rain that we had. It's really like a bug situation I've never dealt with before. Um, is to just put everything away, like even before organizing and before, like just get it to where you can actually compose a thought about the details, about the detail work. And I think that's like
Mm-hmm.
you're neutralizing the ugly for the house.
Yeah.
Just like stop.
Yep.
Like let's just get it all put away first.
We came home from the water park yesterday and I begged Stuart to stop and get tacos at the taco wagon before we
Mhm.
left because I knew we were going to get home. It was going to be like right at dinner time. And I knew the state we'd let the kitchen in because it's just
Yeah.
when you don't have the structure of a school day, it's very tricky to keep people out of the kitchen. It's a real problem. It's also a problem when you make your living from that kitchen and the people won't leave
Yeah.
the kitchen. But we had our tacos, so we came home. Everyone kind of did their little, went to their corners of the house. And I just put on a podcast and I just took down the fly papers that were full of dead flies. And I cleaned my light fixtures where all said flies like
Oh
to
my
land.
gosh.
And
Gross.
I just, there's a difference between, hey, I did my dishes and hey, I dusted. And I know
I
like
decrutted.
I
Yeah.
decrutted and I know like not dusting is not for everybody. I've got friends that don't dust. I do dust because we're talking about a different level of dust when you live on a gravel dirt
On a farm.
road on a farm.
Yeah. Our
So,
driveway, I think, is probably a huge oh, whatever, can't think of a fancy word, a huge source of the dirt in our house
mhm,
because the windows are always open and I have sons
mhm.
with Corvettes and big diesel trucks that just tear down the driveway and fill it with
Yeah,
just like a cloud. Looks like a cartoon,
yeah.
And I know that comes in here. And because I can just walk, I can dust and then I can walk through. I'm like, what is this? White
Mhm,
stuff.
mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, so sometimes it is you can't think about the organization once that was all done, like once the fly papers were down and the light fixtures were cleaned and
Hmm.
the dishes were done, then all of a sudden I could think, all right, it might be good just to take 20 minutes and go through and fill up all your, I keep like glass Le Parfait jars. Like go through and top all those off with your polenta
Right.
and with your sugar and your oats. Like to me, that's organization. It doesn't always have to be like, let me get this huge system of walls of bins. Sometimes it's just,
Right.
are my spice jars filled up? Do I have spices? Like, when was the last time my butter dish
Yeah.
was cleaned? Is there butter in it? Like, it's these small
Right.
little
Is there
things, but
crumbs?
yeah, it's the
Yeah.
things that make you feel like your life is not totally off the rails. You go to the fridge and there's
And they
meat
make
in
you
it.
feel like you could do the bigger thing.
Right.
I know everybody's personality is different, but when the spices are topped off and the film is wiped off the back of the toilet and those few things where like if that make it so like if somebody walked in your home, you wouldn't be like completely mortified and die of shame. When that
Mhm.
sort of mental space for me is cleared, then I go, oh, I could
Right.
spruce up my closet. I could, you know, rehang all the coats and line the boots up or whatever. You could do
Mhm.
some detail work.
Mhm. And it's hard because you don't I know that just sounds like more work, but, like, you don't actually get to mentally go there every day. There are lots of days where all you can do is do the dishes.
Oh, no, it's like a luxury to go
That's
there.
what I'm saying. It's like,
Yeah.
this is our this is what we're
Ooh.
this is our luxury. This is how we treat ourselves. Ooh, I could put more oats in the oat
Right.
jar. Sexy.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, it's hard for me to think outside of the kitchen in the summertime because we're canning peaches and making salsa and bringing in tomato. I mean, it's everything is in the kitchen. My living room is in such a state. I'm embarrassed. It's bad. I mean, it's Lego land now. It's just Legos.
Yeah.
There's just Legos on every surface and books, piles of books that the kids are reading and blankets strewn out on the floor from forts. And I'm just letting that be.
Mhm.
So for me right now,
Yeah.
organizing doesn't look like putting that all perfectly back because it's summertime and the kids
Right.
have to be somewhere and I need them to not be in the kitchen.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that. It's not just me then, where I feel like I've noticed it really in the last few days even, like, the kitchen is just I'm just there. All I'm doing is cleaning up the kitchen,
Yeah. And then a lot
but
of
it's just a
times
perpetual, like,
you can get to the end of the day and you clean the kitchen, you're like, but it's not clean. Why?
but it's not clean.
Why?
I'm maintaining the kitchen. Let me rephrase that. I'm
Yes.
maintaining the kitchen. Yeah.
It's a different thing. Different thing. Yeah, that
Mhm.
falls into like a daily routine thing more of than like a an overhaul's not the right word, but I guess here's what it's good to have the desire to want to organize things to a point that they're, quote unquote like perfect, right? Where things are just placed and done. Like that's a good desire. The problem is living with the frustration that it's not going to stay that way. And
Mhm.
you can organize, for example, your medicine cabinet, and it'll probably stay that way for a year until you gotta like reassess. Oh, we're out of band-aids. Okay, we gotta redo this. Your kitchen, I mean, you get a few days. At least
Yeah.
in my kitchen, we get a few days. If I clean out the refrigerator, it'll look really nice for about 4 days.
Mhm.
And then it'll slowly, slowly move. So this is like, I guess this is almost more of a daily habit, isn't it, than an overhaul?
Yeah. I think by maintaining the daily habits, then you've set the stage for when life presents you with an opportunity for the overhaul.
Right.
But I don't know, I can't imagine any woman, use my limited thinking, but I can't imagine any woman listening right now that goes, "Oh, I have this pocket of time, this window of time, and I'm going to overhaul the whole house.
Yeah.
I'm going to, who's got that huge that's just too huge." But I
It's too
think by
huge.
by having good daily habits, then you're setting yourself up for when that window does open, then then you can do the thing.
Yeah.
And before we go any further, I think we should open the window of saying thank you for our show sponsors. And
Yes.
I'd love to start by saying thank you to American Blossom Linens. You've heard me say it 1,000 times, but if your bed needs an overhaul,
Oh,
this
man.
is where American Blossom Linens comes in. If your linen closet is crusty and stale and stained or bad quality, and you want to kind of adopt this better, not more concept in your house, this is where American
S-
Blossom Linen comes in.
You
The
guys
code is
start
summer.
here. Start here.
Start here. Sleep well, sleep beautifully, sleep with dignity. The code is Summer Chic 20. They're going to gift you 20% off your purchase when you visit AmericanBlossomLinens.com and use the code Summer Chic 20. They have duvets and sheets and baby blankets and crib mattress covers and like everything that you need to have the linen closet of your dreams. Everything is American made. Everything is top notch quality. The sheets have a 2-year happiness guarantee. So Shay has this wonderful expression that she heard once, like, we can't afford to buy cheap. So we're not talking about running to Target, twice a
Mhm.
year, every 18 months, whatever, to get more junk, basically. We're
Mhm.
inviting you to invest once and treat your home well and not have to keep throwing money at a situation. A 2-year
Mhm.
happiness guarantee. When you get a king or a queen set, you're going to get 4 pillowcases instead of 2. The fitted mattress sheets are extra big, so no more tug of wars when you're trying to make your bed by yourself. And they're all American made from the very beginning, from where the cotton is grown to the box that shows up on your doorstep. They're going to treat you to a little peach tea, perfect for a summertime treat. Dress your bed, sip your tea,
Mhm.
and you'll thank American Blossom Linens. AmericanBlossomLinens.com. Summer Chic 20 is your coupon code for a generous 20% off.
You know what I like to do with my ABL sheets is I
Hmm.
when I'm really got it together, I pull them straight from the I know you iron your sheets. I do not typically. I have a few that I iron, but I pull them out of the dryer when they're nice and fresh so that they're not wrinkled, right? And then
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
fold them. And when I put them in I have two pairs of sheets that I alternate between because I'm an adult
Mhm.
and I can't get it together
You're a
enough
grown up.
to wash it and put it back on the bed in the same day. I'll fold it and I'll put it in my linen cupboard with a beautiful soap in between so that as it sits
Mhm.
in my cupboard, it just has this beautiful little light fragrance like a lavender soap or something. And then when you pull it out to put it on your bed, it's one of those
Mhm.
little teeny tiny homemaking things that just makes you feel like, oh, that's nice. That's
That's
luxurious.
that's really nice. Yeah.
Oh,
Sometimes here's a pro tip. If your sheets have like a smell, if you notice the things from your linen closet or maybe a dresser that you keep everything in, they have this distinct smell. That's the tannins from the wood. So a lot of times people will put down like the pretty like contact paper or something. That's why we put sachets in. That's why we put bars of soap in, but it's the tannins of the wood. It's not that you're a bad homemaker. It's like the actual place. It's the place where you're storing them. The linens actually like absorb that. It's a smell that I hate. So
yeah.
I just want to encourage other
S-
people. If you've got a
Smells
funky
like
smell with your stuff,
they smell like my
it's
great
actually
aunt
the wood.
house.
Yeah, yeah. It's got like
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. And while you're online, you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your skin. You got to take care of your face. So you should visit toopsandco.com. Use the code SUMMER20. No, wait, do not use that code because that sale is over with. Use
That's
the
over. That
code
ship has sailed.
Homemaker Chic. Use the code Homemaker.
HMC 10, right?
I'm sorry. Yes, Emily, I do know what
Okay.
I'm doing. Use the code HMC10. We manage all these codes across all these different seasons and try to
Right.
hit on these different sales. HMC10 for 10% off your entire order. Listen, we still have a lot of summer left. Praise the Lord. So shop the Sun Balm and the Sun Stick. This
Do
Sun
it.
Stick
The
was
sun
just
stick.
released. People are going crazy for
Yeah.
it. It's
Do it. Do
so
the sun stick. I swear.
it's so effective
Yeah.
and so wonderful. It's tallow-based sun balm that uses zinc oxide. The cool thing about this is that it offers UVA and UVB protection, but it just stays on your skin. It doesn't absorb into your bloodstream, which is very
Yeah.
good.
It's a barrier. It's like I use it like right.
Mhm. Yeah, your old
Like,
lady
yeah.
chest. I went to the water
Excuse
park
me.
yesterday, I told you. I walked past a table. There were 4 moms at
Hmm.
this table. I don't know how many children. There were, I kid you not, 12 bottles of sunscreen on this table. 12 bottles.
They go, it's so poisonous at the beach. The parents are like
And there's like a cloud, just a
hosing their kids
cloud.
down. Yeah. Yeah. Oh
Um,
man.
that stuff does
Yeah.
go into your bloodstream and it does have chemicals in it. And Toops has answered the response by creating the sun balm and sunstick. So if you want some protection, great. Here's a really good version for you. And while you're there, get their
Hmm.
deodorant. My friend Amber, she said, why are we still putting aluminum in deodorant? Why?
Are
Have they
people
done?
really still doing? It's just
Yes, go to
unbelievable.
Target and look at the aisle. It blows my mind. She's like, look, people use this once or twice a day for 70 years. Like, where are those
On their
studies
lymph nodes.
on their
You
lymph
know?
nodes?
Right.
Exactly.
Stop. Full stop.
Full stop. Toops has answered your call. Shop their deodorant. They have an extra strength one. It is crazy effective against smell. This is what, like, I've got multiple children now who need to wear deodorant. This is what
Multiple
I give them.
prepubescent, smelly children.
I
Yeah.
do. I do have those. Yeah, I'm gonna guard their armpit. I'm gonna guard their lymph node health. You better believe I am. So use the deodorant. It doesn't have baking soda or aluminum. It stands up to workouts. It allows you to still sweat, which, by the way, ladies, is actually a natural thing. It's how your body detoxes. You do not want that sweat kept in your body. That's just the harsh truth of it. It's not meant to be plugged up. It's got to come out. So go to tubesandco.com, use the code HMC10 for 10% off your full purchase. Let us know what you think of the sun balm and the sun stick and the deodorant. That's a great place to start. You got to buy those things anyway. I got to shut my door.
Brilliant.
Okay. I want to jump back into this organization. I have a thing. Hold on.
Okay.
My dog's name is Birdie, you know? And I always say to him, ciao, Alberto. Ciao. And he thinks it's so illegal. Ciao, Alberto. He's so cute. Okay. I don't know, homemakers. Have you ever gotten to the place where your head just sort of feels like it's going to explode with all the things that you need to do, all the things you want to do, all the projects that you might need help with? But you got to hold it in your brain because somebody needs to manage it and execute it. And oh, by the way, I had one of these moments the other day. I was absolutely spiraling. And this was on a Sunday night. We had a psalm sing at our church. And Stu, I wasn't feeling great. I had a headache. It was just not a great night for me. So Stu says, I'll take the kids to go to the psalm sing. You just stay here and just rest. Just have some quiet time. And so I did. I rested in my bed. I took quite a long nap, and then I woke up and I just had all these thoughts, all the things. We're managers of our home. And like sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to piece it all together. It's like, what can budget allow for? What can time allow for? What does our schedule allow for? What can I do? What do I need help with? What can Stu do? What do we need to hire help with? There's a lot. If you get overwhelmed by it, I understand. And what I have found,
because it's a lot.
it's a lot. What I have found to be very helpful over the years is to just try to write it down. Whether you're organizing, whether you're cleaning, whether you're trying to be mindful about what you're shopping for and what you're bringing into your home, whatever big thing it is that you're trying to kind of tackle, writing it down is just super helpful to me. And so I use my notes app on my iPhone constantly. I love it. I just jot things down. Okay. So I made a pinned one called project plans, which you guys can't see because of the color. Project plans. Okay. So I have literally like living room. Here's the little, and it gives you that beautiful little box that you get to check. And that's so
A bubble.
satisfying.
The
Okay.
happy bubble.
So living room, like I need to patch the paint where people have rammed their bicycles for whatever reason that are in the living room into
Right.
the sidewall. Okay. I need to patch the paint. I need to hang the TV on the wall. Here's my office one. So this was the one I decided to tackle recently. Install shelving, paint the office, install gym mats, reframe the posters that you see behind me. I needed to fix the curtains. They needed some rings so they slid easier back and forth. And I went through my house.
I wish we
room
could
by
see
room.
all your satisfied bubbles filled in for the office there, but we can't.
Shoot. Why does it do that? Why does it not show up?
It's just, too bright.
Okay, kitchen, paint under sink. Get lazy Susans for under sink. Okay.
Ooh,
root cellars.
Lazy Susan's on the floor?
Yeah, for my like cleaning dishwasher, that kind of stuff. I've been in a real lazy Susan kick. They're really effective.
They're the best. Lazy Susans are the best.
Yeah, they are. They're really
I'm still
great.
mad at my mom. A few weeks ago, she's like, I saw this big Lazy Susan. It was a wine barrel lid at the thrift store. It was only like $30 and I didn't get it for you. I'm like, then why are you telling me? Like,
my favorite
thanks,
Lazy
Mom.
Susan, when we did our Food Network show, they shipped in all this incredible copperware, the most incredible like Le Creuset spatulas. And I mean, they gave me a whole new kitchen's worth of stuff. But then when it was over, they took it. I was like, dang it. Should have
gotten. Just let me have it for all the stress.
But they left behind a marble scalloped edge Lazy Susan. That was the one, like my one remaining piece from that entire experience. And I was like, I'll take it. Thank you. It's so pretty.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyway,
Mhm.
this little silly list I made, when you're spiraling and you're like, I don't even know what to do, you can pull it up and you can say, oh, okay, well, I can't do that. I can't do that. Okay. Clean out hall closet. Okay, great. I'll do that. And then when you think of something that needs to be done, you know how we like to hold it in our brains and let it just
Mm.
wad up with all of our other thoughts and then lash
Yeah.
out at our children
There's just
because we're
something about birthing it out
overstimulated.
onto the paper. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I even have like a little dream bit. So it's not all just sadness and projects. Like we have a beta fish named Dusty and we all like love
Uh-huh.
Dusty. It's like it's silly how much we love this little beta fish. And I went to a great little coffee shop the other day in a nearby town. They had like I call it a beta station. All these mismatched like glass jars and things with beta fish in them because you have to be careful
Mhm.
putting betas together. They fight.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Betas
but
with anything. Yeah.
yeah, betas with themselves in the reflection.
Right.
But then
Right.
they had this plant connecting. So like, what are the pothos? They had a
Yeah, I was just
pothos
gonna say, like pathos. Okay.
plant and then a branch going to each little beta thing and it was rooting out and it had green on top and I'm like, beta station. We're making a beta
Oh,
station.
yeah.
So I've been collecting all these glass jars and rooting out my pothos and Dusty's tank to make a beta station. So like my point is it doesn't all have to be drudgery. It can be fun stuff
Right.
too. Like the organizing, the making, like this is fun stuff too. And anyway,
But there is I think we talked about this list last week. Um, but there is something to it. I listened to one of the podcasts I listened to is Diary of a CEO, and they were just talking about this the other day, getting it
mm,
out.
get it
Or on the
out.
episode I was listening to.
Mhm.
I'm not saying real time, but get it out.
Oh,
And it's not
yeah,
taking up the mental space.
big time. And
Yeah.
what's funny is we have some business changes coming this fall that we'll have to talk about at a later time, but it is like birthing. And I went through the labor pains. Like I mean, for days I was just writhing with these ideas and working things out. And then it came out and it was like painful and like, oh my God, and scary, so scary. And then it came out, but I
Mhm.
was like, there's no putting it back in. Like it's here, it's
Right.
got a name, it's full little living entity now. There's unless I offer it up for adoption, like there's nowhere for it to go. It's
Right.
as tangible as anything. And there's because you speak it, you write it, it exists. It
Mhm.
exists somewhere other than in your mind, and we hold a lot in our
Right.
minds. And so, even if you're talking about something like organizing the house, like get it out, get it out. Even just getting it out.
Yeah, and the notes thing on the phone is helpful because, sometimes our husbands can't mentally keep up with us, some of us, and you just go, "Share,
Yep.
brain dump."
Mhm, mhm. Yep. Stuart saw mine the other day. He's like, paint the living room. Like we had just painted the office. He's like, no way. I was like, just the parts that are peeling away, the parts that need to be
Right.
freshened up a little bit. But yeah,
Mhm.
it is really helpful to organize your efforts too. Like we're all going to organize in different ways. We all have different pieces of our life that we need to be organized. Like I could be talking about a hall closet and you could think, yeah, I can't do that because my finances are on fire, which is
Mhm.
fair enough. But like regardless of what you're organizing, you know, to get it out of your head so it
Right.
doesn't just exist there. Because that's like to me, that's like swimming in open water. Like you need a buoy to hold on to. Otherwise, it just
Mhm.
flows around, and that's exhausting for the homemaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Mm.
avoiding the mental exhaustion by over ruminating is, for me, really, really important.
Mhm. Over ruminating, that's a really good word for it.
Mhm.
You literally run yourself out before you ever even to start.
It's true, and you build it up in your head that it's bigger than it really is,
Yeah.
that there's, more to do than there really is to do. Yeah,
Mhm. Oh,
it's a big
yeah.
deal.
And some of these things on the list, like order a new handle for this broken drawer. Okay, that's 4.5 minutes. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
go
And
do it.
the bad feelings don't come from the bad feelings come from not doing it.
Mhm.
So but if you're going to do something, you need to have a plan because
Mhm.
our minds are really full, our days are really full. A child can have certain needs on any given day, and we can have like all the best intentions of today's the Amazon cart day, and you just get sidetracked, and there's really nothing like over administrative or anal retentive about just putting it down, like no
Yeah.
matter what type of personality you have, because we're flawed and we forget and we
Mhm.
don't manage our time well. And it's good to have
Mhm.
some semblance of a plan, even if the plan is just like, here's what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And then you can look at it and you can assess too, well, that can go, that's March. Put that down. Like, that is not
Yeah.
important. I'd like to have that done, but this needs to get bumped up to the top or.
Yeah. All right. Well, we covered quite a few rabbit trails. A little bit about organizing.
Bras,
Bras,
organizing,
all kinds of good
midriffs,
stuff.
labels.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you for being with us here on Homemaker Chic. As always, you'll find sponsors of the podcast, discount codes, all that's over on our Instagram, Homemaker Chic podcast over on Instagram. So you can find everything really easily there. Thanks for being with us here today. We'll see you next week. Cheers.
We'll see you next week. Cheers.